Okay. We ended. Where are we? Uh, where the hell? What happened to the thing here? Is this showing up here? Yeah. Okay. Well, just God damn it. Hold on. Okay, here. We stopped here. Chris Day first became an ATU member in April 2007. Sometime in 2017, he stopped payroll deduction authorization and did not maintain paying his dues independently. He was removed as a member for failing to pay dues. On July 21st, 2020, Chris sent an email along with a fax to Mary Longoria, ATU Financial Secretary, requesting to join the union. On June 28th, Chris sent another email because he had not heard back from her. Later that day, Danielle Bauer emailed Chris replying to the email he sent to Mary. She stated that to join, Chris will be required to fill out the application she attached, send it back to the union office, and she would handle it from there. Chris replied that he did not want payroll deduction and he wanted to pay the dues himself. He also pointed out that the application only allows for payroll deduction authorizations, and by filling out that application, he would be authorizing payroll deduction. Mary Longoria then responded, stating the application being used is, okay, we did this. Okay, and into August 2020, Chris reached out to the Freedom Foundation and asked for assistance. September 2020, the Freedom Association responded and sent ATU a letter as representative. On October 2nd, ATU responded and provided a different application that did not require use deduction. That was interesting. When Danielle was asked how Christopher Day's membership application was processed, she stated, Chris Day, I believe, had issues with concerns with being a payroll deduct. And so I believe it went to international, and there was direction given to provide him with the option to pay us directly each month as direct pay member versus payroll deduction. This demonstrates the difficulty Chris had to become to be a member that is not authorizing payroll deductions. The application that ATU 757 presented Chris when he first asked is the only application ATU 757 currently uses for any person who wants to join ATU 757. The application is a combination of application and authorization of payroll deduction, all as one. Filling that out automatically grants authorization of payroll deduction. No other application is made available. When an applicant asks for another way to pay dues without payroll deduction, the union's typical response, not response. The union's typical response, not you have the word respond, is that it is the only accepted application. If an applicant obtains legal representation and that representative requests, put an S here, requests for a way to join the union without authorizing payroll deduction. It's a little bit fuzzy there. If an applicant obtains legal representation and that representative requests, drop the word for, get that out of there. Request a way to join without authorizing payroll deduction. But that's like, you should have more to this sentence or something. Something doesn't sound right here. When an applicant asks for another way to pay dues without payroll deduction, the union responds the only accepted application. If an applicant obtains a legal representation and that representative requests a way to join the union without authorizing payroll deduction. See, you need that sentence. This should be a comma. Okay, not a period. See here? Comma. ATU will then contact ATU International, and ATU International will instruct ATU 757 to permit that person to apply and supply a form from the international the person can fill out. The evidence shows that ATU 757 makes it extremely difficult to become a member without authorizing payroll deduction. It also shows that when a member requests, put an S, when a member requests to stop authorization of payroll deduction, ATU 757 maintains a running practice to discharge the member's membership status from member to non-member the day of the retraction submission. Yes. Even when the member is still current on their dues, the month the revocation was submitted. You might want to change this change it in here from a period to a comma again, because basically the two thoughts are linked. This demonstrates ATU does not view authorization of payroll deduction as an independent of membership status. Yes, I think your point is well made. Just fix that punctuation. ATU 757 practice change. In testimony, Stark states, for all the members who have contacted you, basically since after Chris Alexander's request, you have required them all to submit a request in writing. Bauer replies, to the best of my knowledge, that has been my intentions. Yes. Stark states, okay, and then for those, have you processed those in the exact same way if you get the request in writing? Bauer replies, absolutely. Stark states, you take the same steps you email, you promptly notify payroll deduction if they have payroll deduction, and you follow up with MUMs. Bauer replies, exactly, yep. Initially, the very first thing is with the payroll, notifying the officers and staff of the present situation and updating their status in MUMs and reporting back to the International. ATU 757 changes practices to assure consistency only after the handling of Chris Alexander. This correction shows that ATU 757 was or became aware that it was not being consistent on how they were handling revocations. These statements made in testimony shows that ATU 757 does not understand that a revocation can be submitted via email and ORS if the revocation is originally signed, written document, and there is no other language in the signed authorization deduction above the revocation. Wait a minute. This statement made in the testimony shows that ATU does not understand that a revocation can be submitted via email, and if the revocation is an originally signed written document, and that there is no other language in the signed authorization deduction form about revocation. It's a little confusing. ATU is not showing that it understands there are three components to a valid revocation. It must be an original document, it must be signed, it must be delivered to the labor organization headquarters. This can be done electronically, U.S. Postal Service, or hand delivered, as long as the three components are present. By changing in status in MUMs before the end of the month, before ATU 757 bylaws and the ATU 7 general constitution and general laws are followed, it's demonstrating that authorization of payroll deduction is a condition of membership status. Conclusion. Duty of fair not bus fare, fair as in F-A-R-R. Duty of fair representation is to assign that a valid revocation is being acted upon, that the revocation is an original written signed document that is sent to the labor organization headquarters, that all revocations are handled in the same manner, that membership status is not changed until the dues have expired, and that the bylaws and constitution addressing dues, fees, and assessments are being followed, that applicants or members can start or stop authorization of payroll deduction without affecting membership status. This evidence shows that ATU 757 is not doing such. The evidence shown that ATU has failed or refused to assure Chris Alexander's revocation for authorization of payroll deduction for dues was signed before it was acted upon. that only 2 of the revocations submitted demonstrated consistency, while the others demonstrated inconsistency. The 2 consistent revocations took place after ATU changed its practice with Chris Alexander. ATU 757 changes the membership status in MUMS the same way as it's stopping the authorization of payroll deduction, showing that membership status is dependent on authorization of payroll deduction. Chris Alexander's membership status was changed to non-member in MUMS on June 15th. Chris Alexander's June 22nd and June 23 retraction and request to stay a member was ignored. Yes, I think you've made that clear. ATU 757 would have been required to have a costly election and allow the membership to vote for filling of interim positions instead of being able to simply appoint who they want without membership vote or costly election. With this evidence and testimony presented to you, Chris Alexander is asking you to say yes. Chris Alexander is asking you to say yes that ATU 757 did breach its duty of fair representation of Chris Alexander in violation of the following of these storts by removing him from his executive board position. ATU did require dues deduction authorization as a condition of membership by refusing to comply with these. By granting this email request to revoke dues deduction, ATU did fail or refuse to comply with this. ATU should be required to pay a civil penalty pursuant to these. Resolve lost wages and missed stipend, filing fees in the sum of $3,000. Lost wages for sign-up and missed member meetings if he had not been unjustly removed from office in violation of law. Stipend for the month of July, August, September, stipend he would have received if not removed unjustly. Chris Alexander's original union application goes back into effect, and the one he signed in July voided out. The application signed July 9, 2020 would not have been needed had he not been unjustly removed. Executive order board officer position posted so interested POW candidates can submit for the position. Chris was unjustly removed, and it would have been more than 1 year of time left in the term that the interim position would be filling. This would be in compliance with our own bylaws and international constitution. POW operators vote for the replacement of executive board officer for POW if more than one candidate applies. Though Bruce Hanson and Christopher Day did not charge in assisting in collecting evidence, prepare evidence, and present evidence, each of them did spend over 40 hours of their personal time to do so. It is being requested that a reasonable representation fee to be awarded for their assistance. They currently make a low of $31 an hour as an operator. 31 times 40 comes to a maximum of $12.40 each. The maximum civil penalty of $1,000 be awarded. Complainant Representative Bruce Hanson. I hereby rule Christopher Day's petition is hereby granted.